Did you clap?
I kind of missed my hands.
Sound like we're getting worse. Okay, there we go.
My hands hurt.
All right, full disclosure.
Yeah,
Full disclosure. We
What you're
already,
about to witness has been done before.
we already recorded this episode, and it magically disappeared.
It is just gone.
It's gone. I don't know where it went. It's irrecoverable. So full disclosure, we've already done this.
We're gonna try our best to recreate things we talked about.
It won't be that hard to do.
And we're good. We'll be okay. So
Yeah, this is fine.
Just to let you know.
Just full disclosure. So if it's fine.
It's fine.
So what we recorded a couple days ago now was neither of us really had any topics for the episode, so we decided to do the infamous Harry Potter episode that we've talked about a couple times. And
We both just have a lot to say about Harry Potter, and there are so many people, so many opinions out there, so it's nice to get ours out.
Harry Potter's an interesting one because people have very strong opinions, very strong differing opinions.
And everyone seems to be talking about Harry Potter right now, so...
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Harry Potter... Actually, quick Harry Potter history. Personal Harry Potter history.
Okay.
I grew up with Harry Potter. I read the books when I was like 9 or younger. And then I read them when I was in the 7th or 8th grade. And then I haven't read them since. I read them when I was like 9 or whatever, and like, I didn't retain anything, so that barely counts. But I read them when I was in like the 7th grade, again.
Did you read all of them when you were like 9-ish?
I don't know. I don't think so. I must not have. I might have read like the first 4. Maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. But I did. And then I've seen all the movies a million times. I grew up playing Harry Potter in the backyard with my cousin.
Of course.
We would play Harry Potter and Avatar.
Naturally.
So Harry Potter's a big part of my life, and it always has been.
Yep. Similarly, grew up watching all of the movies. Watching them too many times for my family to handle. Those first 3 movies a lot. And I didn't read them until I was like 14. Which is crazy. But I was a Percy Jackson gal before that. My attention was elsewhere.
I read Percy Jackson. I loved Percy Jackson.
Yeah. Great. Good for you. So yeah, I didn't read them till I was like 14, and I've only read them that once through, and I've always meant to read them again, but there are just so many.
There are
so many.
Segue. I'm reading them again now.
Yep.
I just finished the 3rd one, and I'm 100 pages into the 4th. I'm a Ravenclaw. There are the 4...
If you didn't. No.
There are the 4 houses, and I'm a Ravenclaw.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
There's also Gryffindor and Slytherin. If you're a Gryffindor, I don't want you to speak to me.
Get away from us. But also secondary house. Secondary.
Yeah. If secondary house, like...
I'm like a Hufflepuff mainly, but also very Ravenclaw.
And I have always said that I am a Ravenclaw, but if I wasn't a Ravenclaw, I'd be a Slytherin.
But also Hufflepuff.
Also, I'm a kind of a Hufflepuff.
Just anything except Gryffindor.
I'm everything but Gryffindor.
I'm having such a deja vu.
I know. This is terrible.
It's okay.
It's fine. So I am a Slitherclaw.
I'm a Huffleclaw.
Or a Raverin.
Or a Ravenpuff.
Oh, I like that one.
Ravenpuff.
So if you want the Slytherin's house animal is a snake, Gryffindor house animal is a lion, Hufflepuff house animal is a badger, and Ravenclaw house animal is an eagle.
So dumb.
I don't know why. That's so dumb. It's fine. Anyway. What's your Patronus?
Yes,
so
there's
a Patronus
and Patronus.
House Patronus and then wand, but we don't talk about that.
No, we don't.
A Patronus is an animal spirit thing.
That's just kind of like your protector, and you can
conjure it to make Dementors go away.
Yeah, it's like a protective spell. And like
And everybody's got an animal.
A little like spirit misty animal comes out, and everyone's got a different one. So yours is.
I'm a chow dog. The big fluffy boys.
And I'm a grass snake.
A Hufflepuff with a snake Patronus.
You know what? I dig it.
I do too.
But if you're curious about your house or your Patronus or your wand, go to pottermore.com.
Please do it. Make an account.
And it's some really, really cool quizzes.
The quizzes are really fun.
They're really fun and enjoyable. And they're very creative.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah.
And
now that's out of the
you
way.
can be like, oh, I'm a Slytherin, but if you haven't taken the Pottermore quiz and gotten Slytherin, you're not a Slytherin.
You're not. Sorry.
You don't get to claim a
And
house
like
unless you've taken it.
on occasion, the quiz is wrong.
Very rarely, but it happens, I guess.
You have to have the like credibility to like recognize that you're the wrong house, or have someone else say no, they were wrong. That's
Definitely.
not who you are.
What's your favorite movie out of all the movies?
Yeah. Oh man, and it's really hard because I grew up watching the first like half of the movies a lot, and then the last like 3 not so much, or the last 4 not so much.
Yeah.
And so
those ones are definitely the worst ones.
So
Give your favorite first.
Goblet of Fire was always the one I'd watch a million times in a row, but I also really love Prisoner of Azkaban.
Goblet of Fire is definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
For every reason. That's the best movie. The first 2 are great too.
The first 2 are just classics, and you're
really
just like,
good.
yeah, of course.
The third one, I don't know if time had passed or something, but the kids are so much older in it. So that's, like, not helping their case. But
they just all of the kids hit a point where they started, like, growing a bit.
Yeah. And so everyone looks so much
tweens.
older in the third one. What's your least favorite movie now? I would definitely say Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I was gonna say, because
Definitely.
I go to the last ones, and I'm like, Half-Blood Prince, Order of the
Order of the Phoenix isn't very good either.
But at least we do some fun things, like Fred and George have some fun.
Yeah,
and like,
they always do.
I don't know. But yeah, no. Deathly Hallows Part 1 is miserable.
Rough.
And it's because they split up the last book into 2 parts like they always have to do. And so all of the really boring beginning stuff is just stretched out.
The entire movie is them, like, camping in the woods.
Yep.
But, like, there's no reason for it.
No, it's...
It's weird. It's dumb. Whatever. I don't like that movie.
So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What's your favorite characters?
So we have to address the
My-
elephant in the room.
My favorite character always has been and probably always will be Draco Malfoy. When I read the books when I was 9, Draco was my favorite character, which is a little concerning.
Little bit.
But I love that boy. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Yes, we will.
I'll hold back for now.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely Draco. I've grown to love him a lot more as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I was like, yeah, Draco.
That's okay.
Draco's mean.
Draco is mean. But it's not his fault. We'll get there.
Luna
Lovegood is a fantastic
Lovegood,
answer.
Angel, just no one like her. There's just no one like her.
One of a kind.
Fred and George.
Fred and George Weasley are definitely bearing down on Draco for that number 1 spot. They're very, very, very close seconds.
They're so fun.
But I think Draco takes it. But they're very, very close. I like George. It would go Draco, George Weasley, Fred Weasley.
Well, then let's talk about some of the characters.
Okay. What's your least favorite characters?
Oh, well.
I got a list.
Yeah, Peter Pettigrew.
Peter Pettigrew, Dolores Umbridge. Peter
Pettigrew
Pettigrew's definitely the worst one.
Just gross.
He's so gross. Weak.
He's just not fun at all.
Nope.
He's just a coward.
Yep.
There's nothing fun about
there's
him.
no redeemable qualities about him, except that maybe he turns into a rat. That's fun. But he's just the worst. He's gross. And then Umbridge is the worst too. I don't like Lockhart either. Lockhart's funny, but stupid.
You can at least laugh at Lockhart.
He's dumb.
Entertaining.
Segue from Draco.
Yeah,
we meant to say this in a second. So Harry Potter's come back into fashion a bit the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Months. When I was in high school, in middle school, it was not cool to like Harry Potter.
No.
Like, it was a thing. It was, like, a mainstream thing, but,
People
like, you were
like-
definitely nerdy if you liked Harry Potter. You couldn't talk about it.
If you could, like, talk about it and know what you were talking about,
Yeah.
you were like, nerd.
Everyone had that really basic knowledge of it, but then if you were one of the people who had, like, read the books and could talk about it deeper than, like, surface level, you were a nerd.
Yep.
People, like, made fun of you for it. But now, every tween on the corner of the street is really attracted to Draco Malfoy.
These children that have definitely not even watched these movies.
It's a thing on TikTok. That's what started it. There's this thing called Draco Talk, and these little kids are now obsessed with Draco Malfoy.
And they've made him into something he just isn't.
God, everyone keeps
He's
talking
this
about how, like,
sex symbol.
it's bad. He's a sex symbol. People keep talking about how good of a boyfriend he'd be. And listen, I love Draco more than the average person, I think, but I am able to recognize that he's a very terrible boyfriend.
Damaged, toxic person.
He's bad.
And it's not his fault. He's had a really rough upbringing, and it's like sad.
I'll get there in a second.
Boy.
But he would not be a good boyfriend. It's bad. It's really gross and bad. But what makes me so upset about it is I have liked Draco for so many years, and that people made fun of me for it.
Yep.
People didn't think, and so now he's just this mainstream thing. And you can tell by the way people speak about him that they've never seen one of the movies.
No.
They've never read any of the books.
They got nothing.
You're allowed to say that you like Draco if you know him.
Mm-hmm. But you can tell that none of these kids know him because the things they're saying about him are incorrect.
Just because you like his face, which he's gross.
He's got this slicked back hair, but not in a good way. It's like
no,
gross.
it's gross. Just because you like his face doesn't mean you can turn his character into something he's not.
Into something that you want him to be.
And genuinely, I don't mean to like gatekeep, like fandom gatekeep, but if you're simping over the wrong person. You've made him into someone he's not, and that's so dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's rough. It's dumb.
It's terrible. So speaking of Draco, I swear we'll stop talking about him in a second. I always feel the need to justify my love. Because when you first talk about it, that's weird that someone likes Draco Malfoy. He's the and he's not the antagonist. He's just the bully.
The arch nemesis. Not enemy, because like Voldemort.
No, yeah, he's just the
he's just
kid at school.
Kid at school that
no one
is
likes.
goes he clashes with Harry.
He clashes with our main characters, so
Yes.
you're supposed to not like him.
Yeah.
But now
our
that
main characters are
our main characters are kind of the worst. But now that we're older and can analyze things better, I think I could analyze it when I was little too.
And we've talked about how the books, like the movies too, but especially the books, are from Harry's perspective.
Yep.
And you're seeing through the eyes of this child, and that goes into all of the characters we're going to comment on.
We'll talk about Snape in a second.
Yeah. And so you just only get this, like, very childish, like, one-track mind perspective.
So anything Draco does, Harry's like, oh, he's so evil. He's like, he got a good grade in that class and I didn't. What a terrible person. But it's like, and like, yeah, when you're a kid, you totally think that. But now being older, reading the books and watching the movies,
you have to see past that.
You can see past that. You can be like, Harry's a child. His point of view is biased. And Draco's really, really sad and really, really, like, scared and damaged, and, he is the way he is for a reason. His father was terrible to him growing up. He had a really tough, like, family environment. He was, like, raised by nannies. Like, he wasn't raised by his parents. So, yeah,
they're a very wealthy family, and they're very, like, powerful in the wizarding world and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, if you hear the name Malfoy, you run in the other direction.
And
they're just very, like, influential in the wizarding world.
Yeah. Do we want to get into more of that? Or
yeah, just a little. Because,
his dad is a Death Eater, which means he worked for Voldemort back when Voldemort was in power, and then now when Voldemort comes back, he works for him again.
I will defend Mr. Malfoy,
we don't need to talk about Lucius.
But I feel bad for Lucius, and I think Lucius gets a bad rap because he was, maybe not the first time around, but the second time Voldemort comes back, he feels very pressured into supporting him again because he
Yes.
supported him before, so he has to support him again. Because they'll kill his family if he doesn't. So Lucius is scared, and he doesn't want to be there.
Totally, yeah.
That doesn't make him a good person, but...
And through that, Draco is also pressured to be a part of this crazy, awful, like, the bad side.
It's once they're older, so Draco's like 16 or 17.
By the time that
And
happens,
they start, like, recruiting him to help Voldemort, and he can't say no.
Yeah.
And so he does not want to be there.
Nope.
They're
making him go against his friends and his teachers, like his home.
He's already not liked at school.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing, is like, people pretend that he's this, like, big man, Mr. Bully at Hogwarts, but no, nobody
Everyone
likes
hates him. No one puts up with him.
No one likes him at Hogwarts. They pretend that Professor Snape is, like, his favorite professor, and Snape favors Draco.
But
Snape hates Draco.
Hates him.
He does not like him because he's annoying.
Because
Draco's a brat.
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
He's annoying. But, he's really, really sad. And so once he starts working with the Death Eaters, he, like, all he's ever wanted was to, like, the acceptance of his peers.
Want to just prove them all wrong. And now he's proving them right.
everyone right. Because everyone always calls him evil and bad, and now he's proving them right. And he's really sad about it. It's really sad. He's a very sad boy. And he's so, so scared.
And we'll leave it with this. We set his character up for a redemption arc. And then we don't give him the redemption arc.
That kind of character always gets a redemption, especially because throughout the movies, you see, like, he has his moments. He has his, like, heroic little looks. Like, even if they're just glances. You know he doesn't want to, like, be a part of the bad side. It's really sad. And the first scene you ever see him, he's trying to make friends with Harry. He, like, introduces himself. Yep. He's like, the name's Malfoy. Draco Malfoy. And he just wants to be friends. And Ron had already told Harry that the Malfoys were bad, so Harry's like, I don't want to be friends with you. And Draco's sad about it. Draco wants friends. But so Draco tries to get back at him for 7 years because of that moment.
Yeah. Because he's petty.
He's petty.
That's just who he is.
But it's rough, and he's a rough character, and I get it, but he's sad and scared, and he doesn't get the redemption his character was set up for. Yep. I don't know why she didn't give it to him.
Who? Okay.
But that's Draco. I could talk about Draco forever and ever.
Moving into Snape.
We mentioned Severus Snape, who's
a professor at
He's the
Hogwarts.
potions professor at Hogwarts. He's the one, you know him.
Yeah.
You'd recognize his voice, probably first.
And TikTok has also become a little obsessed with him.
We're not going
to talk about that.
Snape is a hot button with Harry Potter fans because you either love him and agree with everything he does, or hate him and hate everything that he's ever done.
And we've also talked about this and how, like, it's both.
Both sides of the argument are correct.
Is he a good guy doing bad, or is he a bad guy doing good?
Yes.
That has done good. Mm-hmm. And it's both.
It's both.
He's a very, very complex, interesting character.
He's not my favorite character, but he is the best character. Yeah. Best written character in Harry Potter. He's very, very complex and sad. Mm-hmm. I just feel the need to put in my 2 cents into the world because I've been reading the books, and Snape has really stolen my heart in the books. It's really... I've been, like, on the more positive side of the Snape argument, but never, like, aggressively positive.
I remember when I first got the negative side of it, and I was like, oh, I guess
he's bad.
Because we, like, actually do give Snape a redemption arc in the books. We give him a, like, redeeming thing.
Yeah. But so, after starting to read the books like I am, he, like, you get a little more in-depth to his character. And again, with the books are only from Harry's point of view. And Harry has this weird thing against Snape for kind of no reason. I think it's just because he's the head of Slytherin House.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a lot to do with it. And then Snape is mean to Harry.
Snape is mean to him.
But the reason is...
Harry, you only see it through Harry's eyes. So every single little thing that Snape does, Harry's like, Like Draco, he's like, what an evil, evil person. But Snape is like eating dinner. Like, there's nothing. I don't know why he calls him evil. But Snape is, I'm defending Snape, but also he's a bad person.
Yeah.
Snape is not a good person.
Yeah.
He's really, really mean to his students. He's really mean to Harry. He's like borderline abusive to poor Neville Longbottom. But it's because he sees himself in Neville, who's like the nerd that everyone makes fun of.
And so the whole thing is that he hates Harry right away because Harry's father, James, and his little group of people...
His little goons.
I didn't mention Sirius earlier.
No.
But, back when they went to school at Hogwarts, they bullied the hell out of Snape.
It's really, really bad. Sirius plays a, air quotes, prank on Snape. Sirius is the worst of them all. Sirius pulls this prank on Snape that was meant to get him killed. He was like, he sent him to be eaten by a werewolf. Like, he was trying to get him killed. That's awful. But that said, thank God, savior of the story, James Potter, comes and stops Snape. Stops the prank and saves his life.
Yeah, but then continues to bully him.
And then continues to bully him until they graduate.
Yeah.
But so, Snape goes back to Hogwarts, he becomes a professor, look at him go, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden, James Potter walks through the doors again. And Harry's whole thing is that he looks exactly like his father, like it's the same exact person, but he has his mother's eyes. And so Snape sees this kid, and he's being treated just like James was. He's the golden child. He's the Gryffindor savior. He's the, like, seeker on the Quidditch team.
He's the jock that's just everyone loves. Everyone wants to be friends with him. He's super popular.
And so just being the petty bastard he is, Snape's gonna be mean to him. Because it's the one chance he gets to fight back.
And that's petty and awful and childish, and he shouldn't do it.
No.
But there are reasons behind it.
Yeah. Definitely. And, like, whatever. Harry can take it. Everyone treats Harry like this.
Harry can have the one guy that doesn't like him.
It's allowed to happen.
He'll be okay.
All this said, Snape is the one guy that doesn't like him. But in every single movie, in every single book, he saves Harry's life. Yeah. He protects him so much.
When it counts, Snape knows when to look past all of that petty stuff.
And he does, every single time.
Yep.
And he, like, protects them, and he saves them. And there's a moment in Prisoner of Azkaban where there's, like, a werewolf, and they're all gonna die. And Snape, like, puts himself in front of the kids.
And, like, pushes them
back.
With his arms.
And it's really sweet. Because, like, he hates Harry. Of course he does. But he knows that, like, he's a teacher here, and he has to protect the children.
Yeah.
Especially Harry. For a reason that... Good segue. Albus Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
How did we not mention least favorite characters are Albus Dumbledore?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I hate him.
Hot take.
Dumbledore
is an awful human being.
He's a bad person.
Let's get into it. This is the one I've been most excited for.
Yeah, this one's a lot. The reason Snape feels so protective over Harry when he has to be is because Dumbledore told him he had to be. And Snape was like, what?
So, really, really quick, the whole way to beat Voldemort is that they have to destroy all of his Horcruxes, which are like little bits of his soul that have helped keep him alive over the years.
Put in like objects. It's weird.
So he can't die until all of those are destroyed.
Yeah.
And without getting into it too much, Harry ends up being one of them, and no one knows except Dumbledore, and then Dumbledore told Snape.
Yes.
But no one else knows.
But Harry is one of Voldemort's Horcruxes, so he needs
Harry
to die.
Needs to die in order to kill Voldemort.
But the only person that knows that is Albus Dumbledore. So when Harry finally comes of age to come to Hogwarts, Dumbledore's like, okay, he can come here for now, but he's gonna have to go.
And how McGonagall puts it, which is one of the other professors, shout out to McGonagall.
Oh, she's great.
Is that he was raising Harry like a pig for slaughter.
And that's a fantastic line.
It is.
Because that's it. That's absolutely what it is.
And we also say, I think Snape says this part, you've just been waiting to kill him at the right time.
That is Snape.
Waiting for him to die at the right moment.
Yep. That's so horrible. And like, I mean,
Snape is appalled by all this.
He really is. And again, with
Snape is
Snape
like,
cares.
Snape is like, Dumbledore,
what
are you doing?
But,
And Dumbledore, like, kinda feels bad, but not really.
He feels bad, but not bad enough to not do it.
He's just like, yeah, Harry
and
has
it's
to
not,
die.
it, like, Harry doesn't know this until the last possible second.
Yep.
It's not like we've been telling him once
Like,
he was
we're
old
in
enough
the
to
midst
understand.
of battle. Of
Like,
the
you
final
have to
battle.
die. And Harry goes, okay.
He's like, alright, I guess.
But
Bring it on.
Dumbledore's the worst. And people complain about Snape. You barely get any Dumbledore hate, ever.
And then Dumbledore, that's like the big thing with Dumbledore is all the Harry stuff, but also, Dumbledore makes every bad choice for the school.
Yeah, yep, you're right. He hires a werewolf to
He hires
teach the
a
class.
werewolf.
And he's taking a chance on Lupin, and he's like giving him a job because he can't get a job, but also, he can't get a job for a reason. He should be
And
working alone. He
The
should be
last
working with children.
place he should be is being housed
Yeah.
at a school full of children.
Where once
Sorry,
a month
Lupin, I
he,
love you
he
dearly.
loses control and is going to kill the kids. He almost does.
He almost does, yup.
And that's why he gets fired. But
At least we fire him.
also, real quick, goes for the whole every character in this goes for every character in this series, but especially Dumbledore. We're a little Gryffindor bias.
Always.
The Gryffindor is not the four houses compete every year for the House Cup at the end of the year. They get points when they do things, and they get points taken away when they do bad things. And I'm on the 4th book now, and so far, in all 3, Gryffindor's not going to win the House Cup. They are losing. And then, literally at the banquet to announce who wins the House Cup, Dumbledore goes, oh, by the way, 50 points to Hermione Granger, 50 points to Harry Potter, 50 points to Ron Weasley, and so Gryffindor wins by 10 points. That's so dumb. Slytherin deserves it. Whoever's winning deserves it.
Yep.
In the book, it was Slytherin. This
So
Gryffindor bias is
dumb.
nonsense. Ugh.
Dumbledore,
dumb.
get out of here.
Anyway.
You shouldn't be allowed to be headmaster of Hogwarts if you went to Hogwarts.
Yeah, yep, because he was a Gryffindor. So, we talked about Lupin, which is going to segue us into Defense Against the Dark Arts as a
Yes.
class at Hogwarts.
That's the one that teaches you, like, how to fight
Defend
dark
yourself
magic.
against the dark arts.
Yep.
And
The
I just,
whole-
I just want to talk about it because it's the most hilarious concept.
The whole gag with the Defense Against the Dark Arts class is that every single year, by the end of the year, they lose that professor in one way or another.
In every book, there's a different Defense Against
We
the Dark
always
Arts
have
teacher.
a different one. It's so
really
funny.
really funny.
Lupin ends up being one of those.
Lupin,
That's why
the
I
werewolf,
like it.
ends up being Defense Against the Dark Arts, and he gets fired at the end of the year because he's a werewolf. Even though Dumbledore knew that when he hired him.
Yep.
So wait, going back to Snape for just a second. Lupin, the werewolf, was a part of James's little gang when they went to Hogwarts and bullied Snape. So Snape has this weird thing about the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. He wants to teach it so bad, and he's never been able to teach it.
They
And
never let him teach it for some reason. He's always teaching potions.
so when the position opens up, when Gilderoy Lockhart gets fired and the position opens up, Snape's like, I want to be... He's like, I want it, give it to me. And Dumbledore doesn't, and he hires a werewolf. And Snape is like, a werewolf? What? And then he learns his name.
That's
And he's like,
Remus
did you say Remus Lupin? And Dumbledore's like, yeah. And so Snape has to watch the kid who, one of the kids, who, tortured him all growing up at this very school, take the class that he's wanted ever since he was hired. And he shouldn't have it because he's a werewolf and he's a danger to the students. So because he's a danger to the students, and Snape is the potions teacher, he has to make this potion that he makes Lupin not turn into a werewolf.
It's
so once a month,
sad.
it's so sad. So once a month, Snape has to bring Lupin this smoking goblet full of this magic potion that will help him not turn into a werewolf. And Lupin's like, thank you, Severus. And Snape is always like, that's awful. It's so sad. But
The poor thing.
anyway,
What else we got?
Defense Against the Dark Arts is hilarious. Segue to what would be your favorite class to take at Hogwarts?
You know yours.
Care of magical creatures would be mine.
That would be
definitely 100%.
so cool.
No question, that would be the one. Transfiguration's cool.
Transfiguration's really
Defense
cool.
Against the Dark Arts is cool.
But also, you have to, like, do it on animals, and I don't think I'd want to. Transfiguration.
You can also turn things into animals, though.
Oh.
So you could take, like, a cup, like, that started out as a cup, and turn it into, like...
That'd be pretty cool.
A bird.
Yeah. There's, like, charms.
Mm-hmm, charms
Which is,
cool.
like, just learning little, like, stupid charms.
Yeah.
That seems like a fun one. But, like, Defense Against the Dark Arts, that's the cool one.
If you have a good teacher.
Remus Lupin's Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I would like to take potions with Snape. Potions
would
cool.
be really cool.
Because they do the,
Because
like...
you just have a cauldron, and you get to, like, make potions in your cauldron.
And it's, like, weird, like,
That's
it's
the
witchy,
most
things.
thing.
But definitely care of magical creatures. No question. That would be my answer. Segue to... All these connect. What's your favorite magical creature?
Ooh. The Thestrals.
Definitely Thestral is the correct answer.
And like, the Griffins.
Griffins are great. Hippogriffs are great.
Phoenix.
Phoenixes are great.
Ugh.
I like the basilisk. I think they're misunderstood. No, the correct answer is Thestrals. Thestrals are like, real quick explanation of a Thestral. They're like kind of horsey with wings, but they look like the skeleton.
They're really, really thin, like grayish black skin.
They're like really like
tight
bony.
skin.
Yeah. And their whole thing is that you can only see them once you've witnessed death.
Yeah.
So they're very misunderstood.
Before that, they're just invisible too.
Yeah.
So it looks like the carriages are just being pulled by nothing.
Yep. But they're
People don't
there.
realize.
And so like only sad people can see them, so it's sad.
They don't get the best
They don't.
love.
But Luna can see them, and Harry can see them
takes
eventually.
great care of them.
And they're great. You see a baby one in one of the movies.
Oh.
But they're great. They're definitely the best answer. Who's your favorite cast member?
Well, you heard of Tom Felton?
Who? Who's that? Tell me.
He played
Laertes in Ophelia.
Yup.
That's why you know him.
Yup, that's what you know him from. But also, he played some character in Harry Potter named what was it? A Draco Malfoy, I believe.
There's never been a person, not that Draco's evil or bad or mean, but he is. There's never been a person so opposite the character they play.
Yep.
Tom Felton is a ray of sunshine.
He is an angel.
Oh, he's so sweet. He plays the
Such a
guitar.
sweetheart.
His hair is beautiful.
And he's a teddy bear.
He
He's
loves
so
his
sweet.
dog. His dog Willow is the reason for life, why he lives.
And he's like really, really passionate. Like he is really proud of his character.
Yeah.
And he's very proud of being like a part of Harry Potter.
Yep.
And he doesn't mind people like talking to him about it.
If-
Like after all these years, he's still not sick of it.
If
He
you
loves
say Harry Potter within miles of Daniel Radcliffe, he starts
He starts
throwing
running.
things.
He goes, no.
Daniel Radcliffe played Harry Potter, if you didn't know. But Tom is like, let's talk about Harry Potter. I'm a Slytherin. Draco deserves better.
Even though Tom Felton's absolutely a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, 100%. But
He's really proud
He's
of
allowed
Slytherin.
to
Yeah.
pretend he's a Slytherin.
Completely. He's the only one that's allowed to do that.
He is adorable and great.
Go look him up on Instagram.
Oh.
He's amazing.
And then there's the Phelps brothers.
Yes.
They're great as well.
They play
James
Fred
and Oliver.
George Weasley.
James plays Fred. Oliver plays George.
Okay.
I think I'm wrong. I think it's the
I
opposite.
think you might be wrong.
I think it's the opposite. But they're also fantastic. Emma Watson's cool.
Emma Watson's real cool, yeah.
Domhnall Gleeson plays Bill Weasley.
Moving on.
Anyway.
Isaac,
Domhnall Gleeson also plays General Hux in Star Wars.
Isaac. No. Lucius.
Oh, Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs is awesome too. He plays Lucius.
We spoke of Jason Isaacs before when we were talking about
Jason Isaacs before.
He played Hook in the live action Peter Pan.
He did, and it was a lot. What?
Huh? Yeah,
Anyway.
and like also, Alan Rickman played Snape.
Oh, Alan Rickman's adorable.
He's dead, but
he's
he
dead.
was an amazing
He was
man.
an angel. You can still be an angel if you're dead.
Yeah.
he's great. Dragons!
Oh, shoot, we forgot
Magical
about the
creatures,
dragons.
I love dragons. I knew I forgot one. I think I'm forgetting another one too. But, yeah. So that's great. Emma Watson's really cool too. She plays Hermione.
We said that.
I know. She's like an obvious answer though. Hermione's great. Hermione's definitely like top 5, I guess. She might be like 6. The only reason she's so high is because when I was a kid, I needed to be Hermione Granger. I shaped my personality after Hermione Granger. There's so much of Hermione in me now because I had to be her when I was a child.
Hermione's wonderful.
She's great. But now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, she's bullied by her friends and kind of annoying.
And I kind of get
She's
it.
also, I kind of get why they bully her. She's kind of annoying. But I still, so much of my personality is based off of her. Anyway. What's the saddest scene? I think by far, no holds barred. For me, no question, it's the Fred Weasley dying. One of the twins. I have some weird pressure point in my brain about Fred Weasley that even, like, thinking about him dying makes me start to cry every single time. I've known that he died since I was pretty little.
Yup, you've known for a while.
But thinking of, like, I can't think of any other instance in my life that can just make me cry on command. But Fred Weasley just gets me for some reason.
Yeah. Both of mine are typical.
That's okay.
But when we do the whole Snape thing where we find out all of his memories and everything that he's been doing and through all the years and all that, that's just a very emotional scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all thrown at you so fast.
Yeah, it's really
so,
sad.
like, out of nowhere.
He's, like, kind of redeemed, but, like, not really, but, like, kind of. And so
it's just very, very emotional.
It's a lot of emotions at once.
And then, Sirius's death.
Yeah.
Because of Harry's reaction. I've always said that. Cause it, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's really sad. Snape's is a lot, too, because, again, with, like, Harry's reaction to it, he's never... Like, Harry always thought Snape was out to get him,
Mm-hmm.
and in his, like, little memory flashback of his life thing that you see, Harry realizes that, oh, wait, he's actually been protecting me this entire time, and I've been terrible to him.
Yep.
But it's too late, because Snape's already dead.
Yep. Which there's a lot of tragedy throughout.
Which Harry feels so guilty
series.
for that he names his son after him.
Which
brings us to our next point.
Yes.
Opinion on Cursed Child. The sequel.
So Cursed Child is a, like, sequel play that they did.
It's, like, way in the future, though. It's, like,
And-
20 years in the future.
Yeah. It's
From the end of
It's
Harry
about
Potter.
their kids.
Yeah.
They're in it, too. And they released the, like, script in book form a few years back. And so we both read it back then. And then I
Yep.
recently reread it.
Yep. Really
And,
quick opinion of what you thought of it.
All of the plot is horrendous and terrible.
Yeah.
And so, it's so god-awful.
Yeah.
The two main characters are Draco's son and Harry, one of Harry's sons. And they're really fun, and I love them both a lot. But every single original character that's in that play is completely ruined.
Yep.
Like, they're just not their characters at all.
That's terrible.
Anymore.
And that's what's gonna happen
terrible. Yep.
if you make a sequel like that. And so they shouldn't have done it. That's just my opinion, is that we shouldn't have had that.
Never. Continuing with that, Fantastic Beasts opinion.
Yes. First one, yes. Second one, no.
Yep. Correct.
End of discussion.
That's fine.
The first one's great. Special shout out to Newt Scamander. Newt is the main character of Fantastic Beasts, and he is an angel.
Love of my life.
Literally perfect in every way. He's so, like, awkward. He does a really good job of being awkward and
he's
adorable.
He's written like autistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the whole thing with
he's
him.
Really,
and he's
really
very
cute.
it's very well done.
Mm-hmm. Eddie Redmayne did
in
a
a really
job.
like casual way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. He's
Newt's great. Newt is the only reason Fantastic Beasts is allowed to exist.
Yep.
Because Newt is great and saves the whole thing.
And even Newt gets a little ruined in the second one.
Yeah, we don't talk about the second one. The second one's really, really bad.
Go watch the first one.
Yep.
Have some fun with it.
And then my last question is, how would you change the ending of Harry Potter? If you could change it.
That's such an overwhelming question.
I have 2 points.
But we are obviously going to talk about Draco's ending.
Draco should have been redeemed. That is one of my points. He should have gotten... I'm not asking for him to be the savior. I just want one little moment where you're like, oh, he's a good guy. His friends know... the people at school know that he meant well the whole time.
Yeah. I
just need a little moment of that.
I'm thinking less, like, big plot changes. But more like, it's very, very... The final battle ends, and we have, like, a second to breathe. And then we do that insane time jump for the epilogue that shows them all as adults with children. Mm-hmm. And I would have loved a epilogue before the epilogue. Of just things settling down and like what they were doing after the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yep. Like, it should have been Fred Weasley's funeral. That's what that should have been.
How do
we don't get any funeral. So many people died.
It should have been a funeral service and like memorial for everyone that died.
But it should be Fred's funeral. Because everyone would be at Fred's funeral. So that would have been a good, like, full circle. Totally. And we could have seen where everyone was, what they were doing. Mm-hmm. But we don't get that. My second thing that I would change the ending for is that Harry Potter should have died.
Yes, okay, should be dead. Agreed. Because the whole thing is that, like we said before, since he was one of the Horcruxes, he needed to die in order for Voldemort to die. But we BS'd our way around that.
Yeah.
And
he's just fine.
Voldemort, like, does the killing curse at Harry.
Harry dies.
And then Harry dies and he goes to this weird little, like, death world and sees Dumbledore.
It's King's Cross Station.
But it's not. It's his little death world. And Dumbledore's like, no, you can choose to go back. And now... The part of Voldemort that was in you, that part's dead. The Horcrux in you's dead. But you can still go back and be alive, so go ahead.
So he does. And Harry's just fine.
And, like, the boy who lived, like Harry Potter, he was set up to die.
Yes, of course.
He should have died.
He should have died when he was a toddler, and he didn't.
And so he's been living on borrowed time ever since.
And he should have died.
It's because it's so, like, poetic and cool that, like, Voldemort tried to kill him, and instead... it killed Voldemort way back in the day, and then that created a Horcrux in Harry. Mm-hmm. And so it would have been so cool that it ended up... And that's what... It is cool. It ends up that Harry's a Horcrux and he has to die.
That's a great
plot point. We just didn't follow through.
She just didn't kill him. That's honestly coward. She's a coward.
She is.
You can kill your main character. It would have been really, really sad, and it would have been like a really... like
that would have been
rough ending. But that's what this is. It's a story of tragedy.
But no, that I would have had so much respect for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would have been upset about it when I was little, but now knowing how good storytelling works, I'm like, no, she was just a coward for not killing him. Mm-hmm. That's how I would change the ending. I would give Draco a redemption. Fred Weasley wouldn't die. And Harry. But Harry would.
But Harry would. This is what place. Sounds good to me.
Yep. So we're 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
And we said that we were going to talk for less time this time.
Yeah, oops.
But we didn't. It was a couple minutes. It's fine.
Okay. Taking a breath from that wild trip.
So that was the elusive Harry Potter episode that we've talked about for a while. It was always kind of a joke, but neither one of us had topics.
So if you enjoyed it, let us know, because we would love to do one about Marvel or one about Star Wars.
We could definitely talk about Marvel and Star Wars longer, which is scary. Yep. We'd have to, like, split it up.
Yeah.
Because I love Harry Potter, and Harry Potter's been in my life my entire life, but Marvel and Star Wars are definitely more important to my life.
Same. And Star Wars has been in my life as long as Harry Potter has.
I think Star Wars has been in my life longer than Harry Potter. Because my dad really liked Star Wars.
Same.
So, my dad had me watching it when I was, like, little. I had to introduce Harry Potter to myself. But so, maybe this was terrible to listen to, in which case please say.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. People probably didn't even listen to this one. But if it was kind of interesting, or you like Star Wars or Marvel but not Harry Potter,
yeah,
let us know, and
sure.
we'll do an episode about our opinions on that. If you have any Harry Potter opinions that differ from ours or agree with ours, let me know. That'd be cool. If someone was like, I hate Draco, I'd block you from the YouTube channel. But if someone's like, I love Draco, you can be another host.
Yeah, you can join us.
Yeah, so just let us know. We don't have much time left. So we're gonna just do our creative writing
that we
segment.
already drew last time.
We're just gonna do the same one we did last time. Generally, we're gonna try to do 2 per episode, 1 for me.
We're just gonna have to feel it out.
Yeah, but this one we went a little long with Harry Potter again.
Ooh.
So let's just do the 1, and I'll do 1 next week.
There's too much to say. We could say 1,000 more things.
We could so keep going. We were rushing through that.
We were. Sorry.
I could talk about Snape a lot longer.
All right. So I drew a sticky note that said poem.
Yay!
So I had to pick a random poem. I took a creative writing class last semester, and we did a lot of poetry, which was new to me. But this one isn't from that. The one I'm going to read is from when Amanda took a creative writing class.
Yeah.
And she had a final portfolio to do.
The class was not what I wanted it to be.
No.
It wasn't fun. It was horrible. I was so excited. It was awful.
Not as fun.
Yeah.
But then COVID and quarantine happened, so I only got like half a semester of that class in reality. But when you took it, you had to do a final portfolio, and you were like trying to put together so many different pieces of writing.
It was bad.
And you had to do 2 poems along with all the other things.
Yep.
And you said, okay, I have a poem that I'm putting in here. You write me a poem to put in here.
And you did.
And I did.
Thank you.
And this one works great coming after our last creative writing one that happened last episode.
Yes.
And which was my cabin story. And so this poem was like kind of a little bit inspired by that, and then became its own thing. 'Cause you can't explain your creative process.
No.
It doesn't. You try and you fail. But so it sort of came from that. So we'll go with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And again, I'm gonna be all stressed having to speak it, because I hate speaking my poems. Or
I can read it if you wanted, but you can do
because I know how to say it.
I know.
And I
totally agree.
trust you.
No, but you wrote it.
But I'm gonna go. Though, like, my throat's starting to hurt from talking so much.
We're gonna do another one.
We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna get some honey. Okay. It's called The Boy. Because I never came up with a better name. So it's just in here as The Boy. Oh, God, I hate this.
I'm not here, it's fine.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not
I don't
you,
want to say
me.
it to myself. Okay. The boy hits the ground once a day. Not his fault, not his fault. His heart he'll not betray. The boy sees no hands reaching down. Not his fault, not his fault. He will twist his around. But the twisting exhausts, and he hits the ground harder. They don't realize the costs of this poor little martyr. Because the boy will strike back. Not my fault, not my fault. Beats his heart with a crack. The boy's resentment won't cease. It's their fault, it's their fault. He will find his own peace. Ooh. Thank you for the snaps. You wanna do the snaps?
Poetry's weird.
Poetry's so weird.
I'm not a poet. I don't like writing poetry.
I really was not about poetry until my creative writing class last semester, when she, like, her main thing was poetry, so we did so much poetry, and I was like, ugh. But I got more comfortable with it, and I started to enjoy it a little. Definitely not my favorite, but... So, we got a segue.
I wish I had the one from the last episode, because it was so genuine, it was so raw. Because...
there's
a word.
Little mini quirk segment to finish us off.
We're gonna seem like we're so insane, which we are, but
we talked about our
the
other
last
word.
episode. We have that word that we never say. Dare I say, he who shall not be named.
Yep.
Got him.
Yep.
We're not crazy. Harry Potter does it. Harry Potter gets weird about They always say, you're not supposed to say Voldemort's name. You say, you know who. Or he who must not be named. So we're not crazy.
No, we're not.
But so you're gonna think we're insane because this is another word we don't like to say.
But
she wrote it in her poem.
That's why it came up, because it was in my poem. And when I put it in my poem, I said to Amanda, I said, this is a good word to use right here, and it rhymes and everything. I gotta use it. And I had to get your permission.
It's fine, as long as you acknowledge.
Yeah, this one is very less so than our other words.
Yes.
Because we can say this word.
It's, John Mulaney has a bit where he says, you can tell the difference between two bad words if you can say one of them and you can't say the other one.
Yep.
Because we will not say that word that we
can't
were talking
even
about.
start to think about that word.
But we can say martyr.
Yes.
We can say it.
It's martyr. It's not a great feeling,
no,
but we can say it.
We can say it. And every time it's said, you have a moment, and it's said significantly less than that other word, obviously.
We only run into the word martyr in, like, movies and TV and stuff. You don't really, it's not in conversation.
Not a very common word. But it happens. I'd say, like, once a month.
Yep.
It'll happen. It's like, ooh.
And we both just go, oh. Yeah.
We don't like that word. Really, really quick explanation.
Yep.
Because we both read a book. I read it first. I told you to read it.
Yep, and I said thank you, but I hate you.
It also ruined my life.
Ruined my life.
And this was like 2 years ago now, and it affects me every single day. I think about this
just
every
to add on to that. I was FaceTiming my friend Deanna last night, and after I read it, I told her to read it.
Right, of course.
And it was way after we read it that she read it. It was like semi-recently, actually.
a couple months ago.
And she told me that she still thinks about it a lot to this day.
Good, I'm glad. So it's one of those books.
It's not just us.
Without getting into it at all, because this is too long anyway, and I don't want to talk about it. It's a book that's like a prequel to Alice in Wonderland, and there's a character in it. He's like the main love interest, but not really. That's like not the point. It's kind of the point, but
in a way that's not stupid.
Yeah, no,
it's really
cool.
good.
It's well done. And he's great, and one of the best characters that's ever happened to me.
Oh,
and he is the template, if I can be honest.
Yeah.
That's it. He's it. That's Marissa Meyer, right? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephanie Meyer wrote Twilight.
Yes.
Marissa Meyer wrote this book. She does a fantastic job with him. Oh my goodness. She does a fantastic job with the entire book.
With everything.
But him specifically.
We end up, later in the book, we end up getting a little, like, prophecy, rhyme type thing. And it has 4 words for each of our 4 characters of, like, what they will become.
What the future holds for them, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yes.
If certain things
happen. It's murderer, monarch,
martyr,
and mad. I can't get my...
Mad as in crazy.
Mad Hatter.
What? Oh, man. We're also sensitive about the word mad. No. But that one's used much less.
A little sensitive.
That one's rough. Okay. But, so, the whole thing of the end of the book is we're trying to break this curse, and, like, we're gonna make sure it doesn't happen. But the people who gave the curse were like, there's nothing you can do about it, it's gonna happen.
As a reader, you're like, the whole thing is we always get a thing that's like, you can't change it, but we always do.
You always change it.
We always break the fate.
Yep, that's how books work. But the twist of the end of that book is that there's no twist.
Every single one of them becomes what it said they were going to become.
The twist is that there's no twist, and it's exactly what she said it was going to be.
And
which is a twist. That's a twist.
The most shocking thing.
It was bad. It was really
bad.
Really bad. It was so bad that we're very sensitive about the word martyr now.
Yes, because that character we talked about,
that main boy,
ends up dying.
He ends up being the martyr, and he dies in a really bad, rough way. And I really don't want to talk about it. And it's just, it's less about how he dies and more about who he was and the fact that he is no more.
Yeah.
So we're very sensitive about the word martyr. The thing that was so rough... The thing that was so rough about that prophecy is that the 4 of them were together and they were like, okay, well, mad makes sense for you, murderer makes sense for you, monarch makes sense for you, and then he was left and he was like, well, I guess that leaves me with martyr. And it was really sad. Oof. Anyway. We gotta stop.
I'm just crying.
So yeah, that's our creative writing and our quirk for the day.
Yep, I'm glad that they could coincide.
Yep. We were probably never gonna talk about that one anyway, because it's just such a little one.
But since
I'm
it came
glad
up,
we got to
had
talk
to
about
address it. Sure.
And I swear those are the only 2 words we're weird about.
Yeah.
I think 3 if you count mad.
But I wouldn't.
I'm less sensitive about the word mad and more sensitive about the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, it's more
as a
Mad
character.
Hatter.
I'm really sensitive about it.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
But I swear I really genuinely don't think there are any more words we don't say. Okay, we're gonna stop now. We're a little over an hour.
Yep. I hope you enjoyed our Potter talk.
I hope you did. This one's probably
I know
gonna get
it's
less
very
views.
chaotic. But,
Those are our opinions.
And we really enjoy sharing our opinions about dumb things like this.
It's fun.
Because we've always got a lot to say.
No one on Earth or in media will ever compare to Fred and George Weasley. Ever. They are the ideal.
Oh, shout out to Cedric.
Oh, poor Cedric.
We didn't talk about Cedric.
A special shout out to Cedric Diggory. Mm-hmm. He's fine.
We don't need to go into it.
No, he's great.
We just need to say his name.
Yep, he's a good boy. He's great. Luna's great.
Alright, well, thank you for your time.
Thanks for listening if you listened. It's
Get
okay
some
if
water.
you didn't.
Eat a snack.
Take a nap.
Nap.
Okay.
Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Draco Malfoy deserved better.
Ta-ta.